Oh, good.
Different than what you had on the letter that was submitted to us?
Did you send that to the ad hoc members?
And
Uh,
what the
the
letter?
Susan?
It was in the agenda. It
Oh,
was in the
okay.
agenda packet. So you have
Oh,
it in the agenda packet. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll look at it.
I can send you it. I can send the letter too, but it was in the agenda packet and I did send it to you, Kima, and I sent it to you so that you could distribute.
Okay.
But I can send it to everyone as well as just its own attachment if you prefer.
I can't look at it tonight, but I was just asking, was it any different than what was submitted before? But I'll distribute it tomorrow to the team.
You got it. All right. Let me know if you need anything from me.
Of course, thank you.
Yes, it was different. And then I just wanted to clarify, Chair Ryle. So, and I see John Lindsay Pullen has his hand up as well. But what changed from the last time the ad hoc met to what was submitted to the commission to vote on? Those changes, uh, the changes were created between yourself and the chair of the commission, correct?
Chair of the commission, yes, and in response to the letter from the deputy chief.
There's a letter from the deputy chief, Osmond. Is
Yeah,
that what you said? Okay.
Osmuth, yes. Mhm.
I'm not sure if I saw a copy of that. Can we get that emailed to us as well?
Yes, it's also
Yeah,
in the agenda packet. That
it
was
was
the
on the
one
agenda
that
packet
Oh,
was
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's in the agenda packet. That's her
yes.
letter? Okay.
And that's what was used, Commissioner Chair Riles, correct me if I'm wrong. That's what you used because you wanted to make sure it aligned with what they were asking. So Lisa worked with the team to get exactly what the asks were, and then that's what you used, and that's what we put into the packet.
Yeah, that was the clearest ask that I saw.
Okay.
Go ahead, John. You had your hand
Yeah.
up?
Thank you. I had a similar question as Ms. Kima about what was different from what was in the packet because there were votes piece by piece, right? And I did watch it. I wasn't able to be there, but I did listen to it. But I wasn't entirely sure what changed from what was in the revised letter to what was voted on by the commission. And then I had a related question, which is most of the discussion focused on the Bearcat, but I heard two different things about the armored Suburban and replacing the armored Suburban. One was, yes, we're going to replace the armored Suburban, but there wasn't necessarily like this is a replacement. We're going to decommission the existing one because it's old, but we might get another one. Like I wasn't really sure in terms of the armored Suburban what the specific outcome in terms of in the recommendation was in the recommendation.
Go ahead, Captain Cable. My understanding was that the language was replacement of the armored Suburban.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the armored Suburban would be ultimately, for lack of better terminology, fully decommissioned upon its shelf life, which is actually not very long, upon receipt of the two replacement SUVs. We would no longer need the replacement of those units.
To
Uh,
Bearcat
uh,
SUVs, right?
Correct.
and was there anything else from what was in the packet and what was voted on? Was there any other different, was there any difference at all between what was in the packet and what was voted on?
I don't think there were anything major. I think the commission, I forget exactly what changes the commission made when they voted. I don't know if you have memory of that, Ms. Montgomery, of what we made while we sat there in the meeting that wasn't in the packet. I don't think there was.
You're muted. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was
Hey,
anything.
John. I was just talking away. Oh my gosh, I can't go off of my head right now to do a full comparison of what you guys put together, but I can send you the final letter that was submitted. I think I sent that to you too, Kima, last week of what was submitted to the appropriate stakeholders. And it has what the vote was, what was in the letter, all of those good things. So I'll find it and send it to you all here as well.
Thank you.
Give me a sec.
And so, Chair Rao, so the next step, are you saying that the commission is going to present this letter to the Public Safety Committee?
It's been sent to the Public Safety Committee already.
So it's going to be on the public safety. So the intention is for it to be on the Public Safety Committee agenda
Agenda, exactly.
and for either you or the chair of the commission to go and speak to it. Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's my plan to go and speak to it. Yeah. And I'm inviting any of the ad hoc members to come and express their points of view about it.
So just as a reminder, the deadline for the submission was on the 29th. So I made sure that it was sent before the holiday so that it was sent to the appropriate parties. You should have a copy of that, Commissioner Farmer. If not, I'll send it to you again. I sent it to the whole commission after I sent it to the City Council and Public Safety Committee. But I'll send it again to everyone that's on here so you all have it at your fingertips.
No, I saw the email that you sent. I just haven't read the whole email.
Got
But
it.
if that's,
Got it. Yeah.
that
So it
information
was
was
it
in
was
that
sent.
email, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. You can.
Yeah, as I said, I'll try to find out within the next couple of days when that Public Safety Committee will be meeting with that on the agenda. I think it may need to go through rules first. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how the council works right now. I don't know who does, but and I'll try to get back to you with the date that it would go before the Public Safety Committee. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to meet in December even.
Yes, I do recall receiving the letters. I was included in the ad hoc email list. I thought that all of my team was included in it as well, but I will make sure that they get it tomorrow.
Thank you.
When does OPD? When do you all plan to go and try to discuss with City Council the equipment that you want to get? What's that process look like? Do you know, Captain Perez?
What equipment are you talking about specifically?
The equipment that we're discussing in the letter, for example.
The rifles, the 70 rifles that we're trying to replace, and the two armor or Bearcat
Yes,
SUVs.
correct.
Well, for the rifles, obviously we have to secure the money, appropriate the money, give it to the accounts. Um, and I know there's a little bit of a setback because we are dealing with contracts right now. But as soon as that is clear, we have a clearance with the vendor with the contracts. We'll definitely proceed to try to get the replacement rifles because they are needed. When it comes to the Bearcats, that's going to be all about money, right? So we're talking about like $1 million between both of them. I think that each one of them is like 500,000. Correct me if I'm wrong, there, Pat or Feb. Once we appropriate money for that, then we'll seek to acquire them. Because I mean, they are needed. I'll give you guys an example. We're talking about these Bearcats, but like a week ago, they were both down for service, and we had none. So that was a big issue for a SWAT call that was out there. We had to go scramble around try to find a Bearcat, and sometimes those, although we have cities around us that have them, it's not that easy to acquire acquire one of those. So I think that's going to be huge for us getting those two pieces of equipment in addition to the rifles. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. And then, so in terms of uh, making the request, uh, doesn't city council require you to have go through the bidding process?
Well, we already have a contract with LC Action, and I think that's what they're working on renewing the contract. Um, I know that there was a couple of companies that we looked at, and we decided to go with that company because that's the one that we've been doing business for the last 10 years or even longer before I've been here.
Mhm. Well, what about the armored vehicles?
What about them? Who are we going to go with?
Yeah, like aren't you required to go through the bidding process for armored vehicles as well?
Well, Lenco does them, so we're going to go with Lenco.
You have a contract with Lenco
No, we
still?
do not.
Right. So aren't you required to go through the bidding process if you don't have a contract with them?
Mr. Farmer, maybe you should
I'm
get a
just
job with our
asking.
fiscal, but yes,
Pardon?
we again need to get 3 bids or a sole source letter. So we'll handle that on our side though. So thank you for your questions though.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's important for us to understand the process. So
Well,
your
you want to
intention,
understand our fiscal process, that's a whole nother class.
yeah. So your intention is to request to skip the bidding process. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're
No,
not
we're
going to
not going to
skip.
skip our bidding process.
How did you refer to it? What about the
Either we
bidding
get
process?
3 bids or it's a sole source letter.
Okay, so do you intend to do a sole source letter, or you intend to get bids for Lenco and other companies?
We haven't decided yet.
Okay,
If
so it's open for you all to get bids from Lenco and other companies still. That hasn't been decided. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's other companies that you're going to potentially be requesting to present an armored vehicle to you, like who are those companies, and doesn't that information need to come to us as well?
We're not even to that part yet. We still need to secure the funding. So
But when it does,
And just for clarification, Mr. Farmer, your question is a valid question. And to Lieutenant Gonzalez's point as well is that we have to get permission from the commission to purchase this vehicle and its specifics. We presented your team with a very specific vehicle. You approve that vehicle, that becomes a sole source vehicle that we would then present upon your approval, which you have, we thankful for that, to the city council, who would then approve our sole source approval, and then we would then locate funding upon everybody's approval for that specific vehicle.
okay, and that's Captain Febble. You the one speaking because I don't know who's talking.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that was Captain Febble.
Okay. All right, yeah, because the commission can't approve a sole source contract request. That, like you said, that only comes from city council. So that's why I'm asking whether or not there's going to be vehicles from other companies that are going to come before the commission for us to discuss. But you're saying I don't know. I'm hearing two different things. That
The vehicle, sir, that we presented to you was a very specific model
I
that
just want to say just one thing, Captain Febble, and you've been very helpful with your reply. I'm just saying what I'm hearing is that it's still being discussed whether or not you're going to get examples of other vehicles from other companies, or whether or not you're going to go forward with a sole source contract request. Is that
we're,
what you're
we're going to
saying?
go forth with the sole source contract request based on the vehicle that we've done significant research on and presented to the commission, and the commission has approved.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sam, did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, I think Captain Bevel kind of covered it. It was my understanding that the commission approved one vehicle, which is the same vehicle that OPD requested, the Bearcat SUV. So I was going to respond to Omar with his line of questioning about the bidding process. I was a little confused because we only approved one vehicle, so I'm not sure how there'd be a bidding process for one vehicle when there's only one manufacturer who makes that specific vehicle. Unless we were going to go buy a used one, but I didn't know that was the case.
Well, that I was saying that because that's the city's process. It's for there to be a bidding process. So, and the commission can't approve the department to skip the bidding process. They have to get that permission from city council. So that's why I'm asking what the next steps are going to be.
I understand, but yeah, Captain Febo cleared up my
Yeah, I
questions.
think we've caught up with it. I appreciate everyone's contribution. So it doesn't look like there are any questions necessarily with what came before the commission and the commission's decisions, but we're going to get those documents back out to everyone for a last look. And then we're going to let people know about when the Public Safety Committee of the council is meeting. John, you sent out a request for some next steps work that we would do. I don't know if you want to speak to that. It's along the same lines. I think that interested in the ad hoc moving. Do you want to speak to that?
Well, I was writing because there were a couple of questions that were asked by commissioners at that hearing a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, okay, we have the information. We can, most of what I think was asked is in the documents that OPD has published. Most of it, maybe not all of it, but um, and I was just saying at the end of that information that I think this is supports the part of the letter that says that the implementation of the armored vehicle policy merits some review. Um, I think it would be good to understand. And I heard what Alternate Commissioner Farmer said in that hearing of like, well, since you were approving this, what's the point of doing a review? I still think a review is useful to understand what are the specific uses and needs. How is it playing out? Does it reflect certain realities in the city? Um, just to get better understanding of how that equipment is being used. Because I would imagine that will also inform, assuming that there are new vehicles, that will inform the types of uses that the new vehicles would be put to as well. I mean, there were other pieces of the letter that I think, probably would be great. It would be great to talk about like how some of the other things in the letter will work, but that was just, I thought that might be helpful.
Yeah, and was it you and Omar who had been part of the previous review of that use policy? John?
Yes. And I don't know, Captain Febble, were you also in that at some point? It was back in 2021.
No,
Uh,
it wasn't Captain Febble. It was
Thomason, sir.
yeah,
Captain Thomason.
it was Captain Holmgren. It was then
Turner.
Sergeant Turner, and then DC Armstrong.
Yeah. So this was my thinking that we would essentially retrace those steps, both to double check on all of it as to whether it was happening or not, and whether there was anything that the ad hoc thought we may need to pay some attention to make some changes in. And my thinking was that we would go down the same process that we previously used to do that review. What are the comments about that? As our next steps.
Um, I had a comment really. It seems as if um, the armored vehicle policy was reviewed, kind of sounds like somewhat recently. I'm just curious if there's something else that we should be focusing on that is more pressing or that hasn't been reviewed in some time. And I know that, Johnson Lee Poland and ad hoc, we have some opinions of what should be reviewed. But I'm also curious, like from the OPD side of things, like is there like a list of priorities that you guys also have that you guys want to see reviewed or not? I'm want to check in and curious there.
That's a good question.
When it comes to the armor vehicle policy, Lieutenant Shannon, who just recently retired, along with Turner and a bunch of other subject matter experts, came and created that policy with a bunch of other stakeholders. Since the implementation of this policy of the Bearcat deployment, In addition, with the obviously with the MEU recordings that we do, and anytime this is deployed, we have not seen any any setbacks. We have not received any negative reviews or uh, generate any complaints from the public saying that, this was too aggressive. We want to make a complaint because of Bearcats out here in this part of town in this particular situation. So for the most part, we get positive feedback from the community when this type of vehicle is out there and is being used. Again, to my knowledge, we have not received any negative feedback on it. So I don't see any issues on the policy. I think it's pretty straightforward. The steps that need to be followed to deploy it, and who's authorized to deploy it under certain circumstances.
So, Captain Perez, I don't know if you heard my original question. It was, it seems as if the armored vehicle policy has already been reviewed somewhat recently, and the the ad hoc has its opinions of what other policies we should be reviewing outside of the armored vehicle policy. But I'm also curious if OPD has any armored vehicle, oh, not sorry, not armored vehicle, any other militarized equipment policies that you guys want to have reviewed that are more pressing or older than the armored vehicle policy.
I'm sorry about that. The reason I was talking about because I thought we're still on the same thing of the armor pit. I'll let Captain Dazakiros chime in on this because he is the one of the creators of the UAV the drone program. Thank you.
Go ahead, Captain Kuros.
Bear with me. I'm very sick, so if I keep leaving, it's because I'm coughing. Yeah, I don't think necessarily having to review the drone policy per se, only because so many agencies are now copying our policy. I'm not saying that it can never be better or anything, but we probably have one of the most lengthiest policies out there, and every other agency is pretty much asking for it. I send it to them. I'm not saying they're copying it, but a lot of agencies have asked it. I know the Privacy Advisory Commission has praised it. But we are looking to get more drones. And then we are looking at moving towards DFR, drone first responder, which is what a lot of agencies in the Bay Area are doing. If you look at Alameda County Sheriff's Department, they've already gone live. San Mateo PD, San Francisco Police Department. So a bunch of agencies in the Bay Area have already gone live with drone first responder. I think a couple of you did attend my presentation on drones and on DFR. So I think it's just asking for more drones and then looking at DFR.
So you're saying that's what the department feels may need more attention at this point.
I don't want to say the most attention, but that is one of the things that I will be working on, that I have been working on, is trying to acquire DFR, drone first responder, where we have designated areas where drones can deploy from to assist patrol officers, respond to calls for service, respond to assist an officer who's going to a call, or even just go to a call for service and not have to have a police officer drive 20 minutes to a call for service when we can just send a drone and determine if there's an incident there or not. So it's drone first responder, and then the purchase of additional drones for our field-based deployment that we have right now.
I did go to a drone presentation. I'm afraid I wasn't able to stay for the whole thing, so I think I missed that part about the drone first responder program. So maybe we may need to get some information, more information on it.
Yep.
I just want to say something really quick to what Captain Perez said about there being no complaints about the Bearcat. We did receive a lot of complaints at our police commission meeting about it, not at the not just on November 20th, but I think it was like two meetings before that. So there has been a lot of complaints about it specifically. And one of the reasons why we put in the letter that we want to review the policies because OPD is currently not following the TV3 armored vehicle policy completely. So they're actively violating it when they're not publishing the deployments of the Bearcat to their social media platforms as agreed in the policy. So that's a reason to look closer at the policy that the court ordered OPD to revise, and it was significantly revamped back in 2021 and has not been looked at again since then. So there's good reason to do it due to active violations and because the court, uh, ordered all these new things to be done with the policy. So that makes sense.
I don't think it necessarily hurts to review the policy. Um,
Especially if they want to expand their use of not just armored vehicles, but of Bearcats specifically, which have this troubled history and a significant history of complaints.
It's not expanding, it's replacing what we have and what we need. And when it comes to complaints, what I was referring to is IAD complaints. Meaning somebody comes to internal affairs and makes a complaint about it. Yes, I saw your writings. I saw your the reference you made when you the letter bit. Again, what you said and what we see in the community reflects the community out that do not um, they don't match. So again, the I'll look into further into this portion that you're saying that we're supposed to put on social media every time that we deploy it. Um,
It says it in the policy, Captain Perez.
no, that's what I said. I'll look, I'll refresh, I'll read it again and make sure that if it's not happening, see, find a way to do it. Because, I mean, we get 4 or 5 deployments a day sometimes. That's a big workload for us to start contacting our PIOs and giving them uh, a summary of the events that has happened. Although it gets reported on the MEU on our vision program. I'll see if we can work something out and find a way to do that.
Can we review the policy? And my concern is we don't have a public safety. We have over 3,000 911 calls a day, and at any given moment, we only have 30 to 35 officers responding to those emergency calls. And we are supposed to be staffed at 877 officers per the city's independent 2024 OPD staffing report. And right now on active duty, we have 500 officers. So when we are asking severely short-staffed department to post on social media every deployment when we have an annual report on how equipment is used, are we prioritizing emergency calls and life or death situations, or are we asking officers to spend more time doing red tape and bureaucracy? Can we review the policy and make it more of a priority to public safety versus bogging down staff with bureaucracy?
well, that's definitely one of the things that when you review the policy that you want to look at. If Captain Perez looks at the policy and finds that that's in the policy, maybe that's ought to be something that we can take out of the policy. We have to add GPS mechanisms to the cars in order to cut down on the 911 too. The audit department of the city said that did an analysis of our 911 system and says that we can better respond to them if there's also GPS in the cars. But we've got to go through negotiations with the union to get GPS in the cars. It also recommends that maybe we ought to change the boundaries of the beats so that the beats where more of the calls are coming from, we can reduce the size of those beats and make the beats larger where there are fewer calls coming from it. And then also the department would be able to respond best to 911. So there's a lot of ways that we want to move in order to make the department better able to provide the kind of public service that we're talking about. Looking at the policy is not adding any work to the department at this point. We're reviewing the policy with all of those things in our minds as we do that.
Yeah, and it's something that I'm just regurgitating something that is in the policy that OPD said that they would do and that they haven't done. And it doesn't even appear that at least Captain Perez is aware of that aspect of the policy. We've talked about this multiple times in ad hoc meetings. And I think, before we start talking about making changes, uh, you know, that we need to look at this from an accountability standpoint as well. So,
Go ahead, John. You had something you
Thank
wanted?
you. Yeah. Earlier, Commissioner DeWitt said, let's hear from the OPD, but I'm also interested in what Commissioners DeWitt and Riles and alternate Farmer, what other pieces of military equipment aspects. It could be a piece of equipment, or it could be an aspect of how it's used, or an aspect of policy, um, an aspect of reporting. I don't know, like I'm just, I do think this is a good opportunity now that this piece of work has gone through the commission and this ad hoc is going to keep meeting. We have an opportunity to say, okay, what are the things that are most ripe for conversation? And we've heard what DQ said. I'm not surprised that you um, identified drones because that's your thing. But I am interested in what the commissioners think. And I also have a question about the armored vehicles, which, I mean, if we did an analysis of other types of equipment, we might find some other patterns. But like in what I sent out a little earlier, it's clear that the deployment of both the Bearcat and the Armored Suburban declined significantly between 2023 and 2024. And, we know that the number of violent incidents in the city also declined during that period, but maybe there's other factors. And I'm interested from the department's perspective. If you want to table this for the review of the policy, that's fine. But I am really curious about what is driving that reduced use of both types of armored vehicles between 2023 and 2024. If I mean, you might have an impression, but it might also require some examination and, a closer look at the incidents, and that's fine too.
Maybe we have fewer
I'm
officers
sorry,
responding
Tuan.
to
I asked a
911
question
calls.
of the commissioners.
So, Officer Perez, do you think you might be able to take a look at what Mr. Farmer pointed out in the policy and let us know when you come back on the 16th, when we come back together on the 16th?
Yes, I was just reading the policy. I was just reading the policy right now. It says notification should be done to the PIO, and the PIO should put it out through social medias that the vehicle was deployed. So I'll reconnect with our PIOs and make sure that they're sending it out, because I'm pretty sure that that notification of the MEU, which is that gets sends out to commanders and our PIO. So I'll make sure that this is happening, and they are putting on our social media platforms that the one of the vehicles was deployed. That should resolve the issue.
all right, thank you for
Yeah,
that, because that's what I was going to
yeah.
point out, that it was the public affairs officer, not the regular like patrol.
Yeah.
Ms. Joseph, please.
A quick question, Captain. Does it say the time frame, like is this monthly, uh, daily? Like when should it be posted?
It's active as it's happening.
I don't know. Thank you.
As soon as the issue is resolved, we should be making those notifications to include the PIOs of the department. That way they can disseminate through the appropriate channels.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
go ahead and answer, I guess, John Lindsay's, Poland's like direct question. I don't come to these meetings with a specific like policy that I want to review or come with a personal agenda where like, this is what I want to see change. That's not how I approach these meetings. How I approach these meetings are, I try and balance what OPD has to say and what the rest of the ad hoc has to say, specifically the non-voting commissioners, or sorry, non-voting members of the ad hoc, and then try to, work with other commissioners to decide like, this is of importance. This is something that both sides have some sort of contention about, and then we can focus there. But I don't come to these meetings like, here's my list of 5 policies that I want to see reviewed because I don't know, I feel like it. That's not how I approach things.
And just to say, I didn't imagine that it would be like a personal agenda, but just, you guys are paying attention to what's going on and probably are seeing some developments that might, merit some review and examination.
Yeah. Thank you for asking the question. I think the only reason why the Bearcat and stuff, all that ever came up to anybody is because of the Joshua Pollock situation that I was on that ad hoc. So that's the only reason why I learned about that situation and learned about that policy. I can't think of any. I know that in the past, community members and commissioners have talked about reviewing the SWAT policy. I believe that the K5, I think that's what it's called, that policy. I think it would, that might be something we want to look at, see when's the last time that's been looked at. I know a lot of the policies, there's so many policies that OPD has, in the hundreds, that they haven't been able to get to looking at those, and the commission hasn't been able to get to looking at those. So maybe figure out which ones are the oldest, um, and maybe look at those. I'm not sure if the SWAT policy is one of those, but I know that's been discussed a lot historically at commission meetings.
So let me suggest this as a way to move forward, if I might, and see if this is agreeable to most folks. Maybe Captain Perez and I should get together and sit down and talk about the department's policies and come back to the ad hoc with a group of policies that would fit the ad hoc, the military equipment ad hoc to be taken up and reviewed and discussed.
Yeah, so to Mr. Farmer's question, that's K5, that's our SWAT team. The last time that policy was updated was in 2000. And just like anything else, right, as technology advances, we start acquiring equipment. That equipment needs to be used and trained with. Also, our team has expanded because of the needs of the city. Our sniper team was augmented as well as our entry element. But yeah, we're open. If you guys see that this is something that needs to be reviewed when it comes to the policy has not changed since 2000.
Is it still a part-time tactical operations team, Captain Perez?
Yes, we're a part-time team. That's an auxiliary duty for us. We have our primary duties, and then that's an auxiliary duty.
All right, thank you.
So is that a way of proceeding, the way that I suggested? That maybe Captain Perez and I could narrow down where we needed to start and come back to the ad hoc on the 16th with some suggested list of priorities to be considered. Don't jump at it all at once.
That sounds good. I guess there's one other thing I want to mention, which is there's a type of munition that I think I'm sorry, I always forget your rank. Lieutenant Paris? Is it? Or Captain? Sorry, I am sorry. I always forget Heriberto. I always forget your rank. But that identified as a particularly risky one to use because it disperses it, in all directions. Um, and if that might be one to review as well, I don't know. But that would be up to Captain Perez.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just one other thing. I think it might be interesting to look at just the use of tear gas, whatever policy that is under, since there's been like some issues with it in the past. I know in these meetings, I think I've heard like Lieutenant DQ or others say that you're adhering with the new guidelines that were set forth for use and all that. So since there has been historically like some legal issues around that, that might be something we want to look at.
Yeah, that's 3G for crowd control situations and then F2 for the chemical munitions.
Thank you.
So we'll discuss all of those and try to come back with some workload for this ad hoc. It seems to be a number of ways that we could go, and we want to be most helpful to the department and also responsive to the concerns that have been expressed here. That's kind of what I wanted to get into tonight, and I think we have thoroughly got into it. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up uh, before we say goodbye?
When's our next meeting, Chair Rouse?
It's on the 16th. And as I say, I'll get back to you when in the next day or so when I find out when the Public Safety Committee meeting is going to be.
Yeah, I don't think I can make it on the 16th, but I'll let you know for sure later.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, and try to have a happy holiday.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.
You as well.
All right.
Bye bye.
Thanks.